Through the years, games played between the Browns and the Giants have usually turned out to be something special. But even before the kickoff, this one had a lot going for it. The Giants faced elimination from the Capital Division race, while the Browns were riding the crest of the NFL's longest winning streak. 83,000 fans in the rain-soaked stadium saw jersey number 76, Lou Groza's, take its place next to other Cleveland's greats so honored. I'm Jack Whitaker, and this is the NFL Game of the Week. The west end of the Cleveland Stadium is on a slight incline, so if Ronnie Bly appears to be running uphill with the opening kickoff, you're not being deceived. Though its importance is slight, it does serve as an indication of the task the New York offense had in trying to move the ball against a young, aggressive Cleveland defense. The Cleveland defensive strategy was threefold: hamper the potent New York passing game with pressure from the defensive line, a line which averages merely 24 years of age; stymie the home run threat of Homer Jones with coverage by fleet defenders like Mike Howell and Ben Davis; and cut off the Tarkenton scramble with pursuit by quick reacting linebackers like second-year man Bob Matheson. The Giants would have to contend with the passing combination of Bill Nelson and Paul Warfield. But most of all, they had to defense the Browns' great runner, number 44, Leroy Kelly. Allie Sherman knew he couldn't hope to stop Kelly, but he at least wanted to keep the NFL's leading rusher from breaking loose with the big run. He received a big boost from the poor condition of the field, which hindered Kelly's terrific acceleration and change of direction. An inability to make his cuts in the mud resulted in several large losses on the Browns' first series. And when Nelson was hit in trying to pass on third and long yardage by Jim Katcavage, he fumbled, though it took a while for somebody to realize it. New York had the ball on Cleveland's 44-yard line, and Tarkenton threw to Homer Jones, who ran a square out and made his only catch of the day. Rookie Bobby Duhan couldn't decide whether to accept a pass from Tarkenton, so linebackers Matheson and Lindsey helped him with the decision. Tarkenton came back with another strike to Duhan, still being trailed by Lindsey, and the results were the same. Then Pete Gogolak was called upon for a long-distance field goal try, and he made it from 46 yards out. New York was first on the boards, 3-0. The next time New York had the ball, Tarkenton screened to Fredrickson, who made a nice catch, and with help from Charlie Harper, a successful gainer. With third and long yardage, the Giant quarterback went to the reliable Joe Morrison, but Ben Davis belted him out of the play. Now in a dry area, Cleveland was finally able to run their famed sweep. Guard John Damari has replaced John Wooten on the Browns line and has developed quickly into a fine escort for the Cleveland runners, as another look at the play shows. Green on a quick hitter. Again went for good yardage, but slipped when he hit the muddy area as the quarter ended. The first time they got the ball in the second quarter, New York began the first concentrated drive of the game. A sideline pass to Morrison picked up 6. Then Ronnie Bly took a pitch over the middle and managed to keep his footing for 19 yards. A look at the play from the top reveals that once again the elements played a role as defender Ben Davis had slipped while coming up on the play. Then, despite the tricky footing, Tarkenton took off on his only successful scramble of the day as he legged it 13 yards and out of bounds to keep the drive alive. The ground camera shows Tarkenton barely avoided a flying tackle by Jim Kinnicky at the line of scrimmage. Then one of the crucial plays of the quarter occurred. Ronnie Bly lost the ball to Ron Snido deep in Cleveland territory, and the Browns had the break they've been waiting for. The Browns have been an opportunistic team all season, and today would be no exception. Eppie Barney, who has been outstanding as a replacement for the injured Gary Collins, took a Nelson pass for a first down. Then, behind a big block by Gene Hickerson, Charlie Haraway, who seems to have come of age as a runner, ran the left corner. Then Nelson fired over the middle to Kelly, who was also a dangerous receiver. Note the second effort that piled up an additional 8 yards. Then Kelly on a draw got an additional 5 yards. On third and short yardage, Nelson crossed up the defense with a shot to Warfield, who ran a post pattern that covered 29 yards and a touchdown. Another look shows Warfield's extraordinary grace and agility as he almost effortlessly glided by giant defenders. Score 7-3. The mark of the good quarterback is when he can lead his team to a big victory, even when he himself isn't having an exceptional day. Despite almost perfect protection from his offensive line, and the fact that the Cleveland receivers were continually open most of the day, Nelson often failed to connect on his passes. On this one, Willie Williams just missed an interception with a clear field ahead. Their defense almost provided the big break for New York, but instead it was the Cleveland defense which once again made the critical play. Ernie Coy took a swing pass, then coughed up the ball to give Cleveland its second consecutive break. Giants tackle Willie Young, number 69, doesn't seem pleased by the turn of events. A repeat of the play demonstrates how an alert, hard-hitting defense can force a fumble. Coy was met by huge Jim Kinnicky, then cracked from behind by Dale Lindsay. The recovery was made by Bob Matheson. As has been the case all season, the Browns struck quickly after receiving a break. Warfield went to his knees to take a 21-yarder from Nelson. Then, behind beautiful blocking, Kelly danced his way in for the score. Another look from the end zone displays Kelly's sliding, slanting style of running, which offers a tackler a minimum target. Last week, Kelly went over the 1,000-yard mark, becoming only the third player in history to do it for 3 seasons. Cleveland now led 14-3. To avoid a long run back of the kickoff, the Browns employed a New York tactic, the squibbler. Seldom has one worked quite so well. Duhan couldn't handle it. Browns rookie John Garlington could. The Browns had still another chance on the New York 30 with 50 seconds remaining. Unfortunately, Nelson couldn't capitalize. He went for the bomb to the omnipresent Kelly, but threw it behind him. A repeat shows Nelson had all day to throw the ball, and Kelly was practically alone downfield. In a season in which first and second year men have been so vital, the Browns have the incredible total of 18. It's appropriate that the place kicker is also a rookie. Don Cockcroft's accuracy has been remarkable, and this 37-yarder presented no problem. In 9 minutes, Cleveland had converted 3 fumbles into 17 points and were well on their way to their 7th consecutive win. If the Giants were to come back in the second half, they would not only have to show a stronger offense, but would also have to keep the Browns from getting good field position. Rookie Charlie Lee's 41-yard kickoff return gave notice that New York would fail to achieve at least one of those goals. For a moment, though, the Giants showed some of the defense they had played in the first quarter by stopping Kelly for a small gain. But stopping Kelly on 2 consecutive plays is near impossible. The magnificent man from Morgan State picked up 19 on this swing pass to the Giant 32. Part of Kelly's effectiveness is due to his backfield partner, number 48, Ernie Green. Green is almost as dangerous a threat, and consequently, defenses cannot key on Kelly as much as they would like. Bill Nelson to Paul Warfield has also been a very successful combination. But Kelly is the Browns' meal ticket, the man they call on for the points. And Leroy again came through, as he has so often this season. On the touchdown, watch Kelly slither through his hole and bang his way in for the score. Cleveland now led 24-3. The Browns' defense was staggering today, showing great team and individual play. Here, a strong rush trapped Tarkenton, and a fine effort by Jim Houston in fighting off his block added up to no gain. Even when Tarkenton completed a pass for good yardage, the Brown defenders were all over his receivers like a wet blanket. Most of the day, however, Tarkenton was harassed relentlessly by the Browns' front 4. Although he was thrown only once, he usually had no time to spot his deep receivers, and when he did, he was off target. Brown defenders were not off theirs. A big reason for the huge Giant deficit was its 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and 2 interceptions. Cleveland is a team this year that capitalizes on enemy errors, and Ernie Kellerman's interception here put Cleveland at the top in team thefts. On the interception, Tarkenton's fake failed to draw Kellerman up, and his pass was well over the intended receiver, number 88, Aaron Thomas, making the steal by Kellerman an easier one. From the Giant 35, Kelly and Green substitute Charlie Haraway put 6 points on the board in 3 quick plays. They worked the Giant right flank on 2 successive runs. After a penalty put the ball on the 7, Kelly went up the middle this time, and the league's leading rusher had his 3rd touchdown of the game. On the replay, watch the Browns center and right guard execute perfect crossover or trap blocking, springing Kelly loose for the score. Cleveland 31, New York 3. The field was in poor condition due to the wet weather, and although Giant halfback Bobby Duhan here managed a sizable gain, the slick field seemed to hurt New York more than Cleveland, since Tarkenton was unable to scramble effectively while also having to contend with a ball that was hard to hold. Fran was a poor 11 for 25 for the day. On the next series, number 44 himself found the wet ball hard to handle as he fumbled it out of bounds after a gain of 2. But quarterback Bill Nelson and a man named Warfield did not. On 2 consecutive plays, they collected 70 yards. The Nelson to Warfield combination has been one of the most feared in the league this year and has accounted for 11 of Nelson's 18 touchdown passes. Today, Warfield was open on nearly every play and ended up with 6 catches good for 137 yards and in one case a helpful quick whistle from the referee. But once again, it was Kelly who took the ultimate glory, his 4th and final score of the day, his 18th of the season. Kelly is blessed with one of the best offensive lines in football, and you can see on a replay that this is one reason why he leads the league in rushing and scoring. With a 21-point barrage, the Browns went into the 4th quarter leading 38-3. The 4th quarter was as much a nightmare for the Giants as the first 3. Led by number 71, Walter Johnson, the Browns' front 4, their linebackers and secondary, were stifling almost every New York attempt to make up the many yards needed to get back in the game. Even a halfback option pass by Duhan could only net a small gain when the Giants needed larger ones, and the gains were getting smaller and smaller. In fact, Gary Wood was now in at quarterback for New York, and it was he, not Tarkenton, who completed the longest pass of the half, a 16-yarder to Duhan. But every time the Giants had a semblance of a drive going, a turnover killed it. Number 28, Ben Davis, looked like the intended receiver as his interception stopped yet another futile Giant drive. The Giants were now facing the Cleveland bench, both on offense and defense. And it was only against the second team that they were finally able to make a break for themselves and capitalize on it. Willie Williams, number 41, picked off substitute quarterback Frank Ryan's errant throw and set New York up in Cleveland territory for the first time in the half. On the last play, a Giant lineman hurried Ryan's throw, and it never came close to reaching flanker Eppie Barney, who had outraced the ball. New York needed touchdowns and needed them quickly, but for some unknown reason, they went the slow way, through the mud. Ernie Coy and Bobby Duhan were doing the running, and they finally dented the Browns' defense for sizable yardage. Gary Wood finally went to the air, but his pass was caught out of bounds. At least Wood threw in a crowd pleaser in the form of a Tarkenton special when he lateraled to a lineman who almost went over. Finally, after 56 minutes of frustration, New York was in the Cleveland end zone. But of course, the game was far out of reach at 38-10. The Giants then tried to be greedy, but Jim Houston recovered the onside kick on his own 43 and looked as content as a baby in doing so. On a mud-covered field, the white shirt of number 13, Frank Ryan, brightly stood out, but Spider Lockhart made sure his receivers would not. The Browns were trying to run out the clock with two rookie second-string setbacks, Reese Morrison and Charlie Lee. But in the process, they would add yet another touchdown to their total of 5. After Morrison and Lee had moved the ball to the Giants' 24, Ryan threw a strike to Eppie Barney, but Barney was jarred in the air and failed to hang on. Then, with seconds left, Lee skirted left end, demonstrating how to run on a wet field in the process. Time for one more play, and Ryan made it pay off as he lofted a perfect pass to Tommy McDonald's arms. And a stutter step by McDonald closed out a humiliating 45-10 defeat for New York. A defeat made even more humiliating by Tommy's jubilant antics. McDonald's antics began on Philadelphia's 1960 championship team, and they may well end on Cleveland's championship team of 1968. Only the next 4 weeks know for sure.